I know. He,
Dar un especial ahí.
estoy grabando, by the way.
Oh, you are.
Sí, pero no me importa. Él últimamente se ha convertido en el que da las noticias en la casa. Él baja como, mira, a este le pasó esto.
But it's more like the celebrity, you know.
Sí, sí. A este chamaco lo apuñalaron 15 veces en el brazo derecho y fue porque se robó una galleta en casa de la abuela. It's like, what? This nigga's turning to TMZ. But anyways,
This is
what?
weather.
I'm about to start this shit.
No, just,
¿Qué es eso?
that's the weather finding for the
I don't care about the weather. I just feel it.
It's not about that.
What does it say? Why are you making me read? I don't want to read. Just tell me what it
This
is.
is the national weather. Red flag warning countries like whatever. Any fire that develop will likely spread. What fire in this cold weather?
Ain't no fire gonna start. Anyways, so welcome to the second episode of the Word Soup podcast. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it if you're back. Man, what a crazy week. I mean, honestly, the reason that I named this episode Thankful is because that's really all I am. I'm really thankful that, I'm thankful for all the support. That's really what I'm thankful for. But, I mean, even in that, so many other things too. I don't know. I'm just thankful. I'm real happy. I'm glad that I did episode 1. I'm glad that I sort of took that shit off my shoulders. I don't know why, but it felt like you know when you have like a goal and you finally like accomplish it? It felt like that. Although like I had done nothing. All I did was talk for a couple minutes and uploaded a video onto YouTube, you know, but for some reason I felt like accomplished. I guess it's because I had talked about doing it for so long, and it was kind of like an aspiration of mine for quite a while, and I finally did something I actually wanted to do, and I stuck with it. Because you know me, like, I don't know, I have like 1,000 ideas, and out of those 1,000 ideas, like 1 or 2 will come to fruition. Because sometimes I'm like, I stay in neutral just out of thinking about things too much. So, I don't know, I was just very happy. The week went by great. And that feeling from after the podcast sort of like carried over to the rest of the week. Until Saturday. Saturday was a little hectic. I don't know why. I woke up like on the wrong side of bed that day. I don't know if it's because I knew we had to go fucking... What was it? We went to the wine place, right? The vineyard? Yeah, I don't know if it was like... If that was like low-key in the back of my head the whole time and I just didn't want to go, or I just knew that environment would like trigger some of my old feelings. Just being around those people. I don't even know what those people means, to be honest with you. That's something that I'm still trying to work on. But I went. I had a good time. I made the best of it. And we made it. We made it through the weekend. I would say the highlight of my week was, honestly, it was getting to talk to your dad. By the way, I'm here with my wife again. Say hi, babe.
Hi.
A little louder so they can hear you.
Hello.
Okay, so there she goes. Yeah, I would say that the highlight of my week was definitely talking to your dad when he came over for the haircut. Because I don't think he knew that, well, I'm sure he didn't know why I was doing the podcast. And I told him. I was like, hey, you know that conversation we had the other day? He was like, yeah. I was like, well, believe it or not, I did the podcast that same day. Was it the same day or the day after? But either way, I did it because of what you said. And he was like, what do you mean? I was like, dude, you told me that I was straight up preaching and I wasn't holding a Bible in my hand. And that came from me. Like, that was my inspiration. Like, that wasn't, what I was saying. I wasn't quoting a Bible verse. I wasn't quoting anything. And to hear someone of his stature, at least in my life, someone that I respect so much, someone that I have so much, I mean, you can name it. If it's positive, I feel it for that guy. To hear him say that, it was almost like that stamp of confirmation. Like, yo, you need to go off and start talking. And like, if that's really how you feel, go out and express it to the world. Like, don't be ashamed of it. So it felt so fucking dope to just sit there and tell him like, hey, thanks, man. Like, I really needed that stamp. And I'll take the moment to say this, because everybody's been like super supportive. Obviously a couple more than others, but I get it. People are busy and I don't know, whatever. Point is, everyone's been really supportive. And everyone always tells you the right thing, go after it, get it done. I believe in you. And not that I don't believe them and that I'm not listening to what they're saying, but sometimes it just takes that one person that almost hasn't been part of the whole entire process. Because, I mean, when did I ever talk to your dad about a podcast? Never. I would never go up there and be like, hey, let me talk to you about this idea that I have. Not that it's a weird idea, but I just don't think that he's gonna be into it, just generations, and he might be like, what is that? Like, he's not gonna listen to a podcast. And then for me to just be having a conversation with him, and obviously you were there, and we had a wonderful back and forth. And right in the middle of me saying something that I felt was kind of profound and it was a little bit deep, he goes, dude, you're preaching right now. What? You know what that does to me? Like, someone that's looking for that validation. And I guess that even sounds kind of weird. Like, why are you looking for? Because we're all looking for validation from someone. I mean, if you're trying to get a promotion at work, you need validation from someone ahead of you to say, hey, you're good enough. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm good enough, but sometimes it helps to have someone that you respect or someone that you admire or just someone that you look up to say, I'm with what you're doing. I support what you're doing and you should go for it. So that was definitely that last little push, that last little but yet huge push that I needed to get everything sort of like rolling and do everything with the podcast. And like I said, it was just such an incredible feeling to be able to tell that person that. And that's kind of one of the things I wanted to talk about today. And I suppose with this podcast, you guys will get a more clear picture of what the podcast is really about. I don't think it'll be more, it won't be so much like goofing around and the back and forth between my wife and I as we typically do. Typically, second episode in, I'm over here talking about typically, like I do this all the time. More like what I did last episode. But, I don't know. That was my first one, and I don't know what to say. But I suppose, let's see, because I saw this thing on, I was watching, you know how I love watching cheaters getting caught. And there was this video where they were showing this guy, and he kept talking about, I'm going to talk a little bit about like relationships and whatever. So he goes into about how men and women can't be friends, right? So he says that men and women can't be friends because men, all they want to do is fuck. And women just want attention. So like one is going to play into the other, and there's always going to be that issue of, we can't just be friends because I'm going to want or need something from you. And it brought up sort of this question, like whatever happened to telling yourself, no, I'm not going to do that. I respect my significant other. Or you get what I'm saying? Like, whatever happened to being able to have a female friend? Like, I have female friends that I'm not trying to fuck. Does that make me like some type of alien? Does that not make me a man? Does not, you see what I'm saying? Like, I don't, and I get it. It's one guy with one opinion, and it's really not that important, but it got me thinking, and I'm like, how many people think that way? How many couples are out there miserable, fighting all the time because she either had guy friends or he either had female friends, and they're constantly at war with one another because they don't allow for one to have platonic relationships with other people. So, how do you expect to be happy in a relationship? How do you expect to feel free in a relationship when you can't have friends outside of your relationship? Oh, well, you should get everything you need from me. But bitch, I don't. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. Do you get everything, absolutely everything that you need from me? I would hope not, because I'm not perfect. I kind of want you to go out and have someone else to talk to, because that might keep you from stabbing me in the middle of the night. I'm cool with that. Now, hopefully, you know the boundaries, and you know, and I, that's where trust comes in. Do I trust you? Yes. So you should be allowed to have a conversation with somebody else. I don't care if that's another dude. Obviously, I expect for the dude to do his dude thing and try to be an asshole or whatever, whatnot, and try to sort of finesse himself into a situation that's beneficial for him, right? But you're my partner. I'm supposed to trust you. Now, obviously, it's a very different thing for every couple, for every relationship, for every person, because we all know our boundaries. We know our limits. You know, we know if the person's done something in the past to sort of fuck that trust over. But then again, these are all things that can be discussed. These are all things that can be talked about. Podcast. That's what this is, talking. That's kind of what the whole thing is about. So I don't know. I just thought that was really interesting, because I heard him say that, and then I thought about like our relationship, and obviously we've had our ups and our downs, and I haven't always been great, you know. Or let me take that back, because I'm calling myself great. I'm not. I didn't mean to do that. I haven't always been as well behaved as I am now. You know, there's been an evolution to sort of to my mentality, and there's as there should be. But you know, I think it's fair to say that at different times in our relationship, I acted in ways that it definitely put, you know, your trust for me in jeopardy. I can admit to that, but those are all things that we've talked about, we've gotten over, and I don't know, I feel bad for females and for guys too that are in relationships where they feel like they're in prison. Like, I can't have a friend, or like their social media account has to be like all super private, and they have to be sneaky and hiding everything. And again, we go back to, well, they probably deserve it because they fucked up. Yeah, but we can go down a completely different rabbit hole if we're going to talk about fucking up. Are we not allowed to fuck up? Let me ask you that. What do you think? How much fucking up is too much fucking up to where you would say, like, okay, I get it, you fucked up, you know, we can have a conversation about this, but I'm still not just gonna just forgive you and give you another chance? Because I suppose if you give a person too many chances, they'll sit there and be like, well, I got this bitch. Like, so how much fucking up is too much fucking up? Okay, so I guess nothing. No, it's fine. It's fine. I can answer the question myself. No, like, I don't know. I think that once it reaches a point where I'm sort of like, where I'm thinking, I don't know, because I mean, it's just everybody has such a different threshold, you know. Like, I'm the type, and some might say, "Oh man, that's so hypocritical." I'm the type, like, I could not get cheated on and be like, okay, like a couple of weeks later, just forgive you and take you back. No, I'm sorry. Like, I'm too creative. Like, in my imagination, I'm gonna picture you sucking dick every single day. I don't care if all you did was text message this nigga. Like, in my head, you're gonna be on all fours, getting like the best dick you've ever gotten in your life. That's gonna be playing in my head 24 hours a day. So until you can do something to eliminate that picture out of my head, I can't take you back. Some people, you could be like, hey, I was with this girl or whatever. They're like, all right, whatever. You know, we fuck up. Just don't do it again. Or, you know, it's going to take some work to get your trust back. All right, cool. If you can do that, God bless you, because I can't. In my mind, I'm seeing like a rope of dicks just all just running through. I don't know why. And it's not because I'm perverted. It's because I'm creative. And I'm like, oh, you cheated? Okay, so that one guy is going to turn into like 6 dudes now. Like, you got a rotation. Like, Monday's decent. By Saturday, this nigga's got like the biggest dick. I'm telling you, it would get really crazy in my head. That's why, babe, don't ever fucking play me. But if you do, I don't blame you. At least I'm honest, right? Listen, I don't think that there's anything wrong with sort of either saying anything, thinking anything, just as long as you're honest with yourself. Like, if you're a fuck up, at least be honest about being a fuck up. That's cool. If you're this or that, that's fine. Just own it. Just fucking own it. I think if more people owned their bullshit, they would be more willing to change their own bullshit because they at least recognize it. Listen, I'm here doing this podcast, and in a way, as a better person, because I feel like I'm a better person, at least a better person than I was last year, a couple years ago. And it's all because I owned up to my own bullshit. I owned up to, believe it or not, I was becoming a straight up fucking hater just because I didn't like the way my life was going. You know, so you can own it. You can own anything. Wow, I feel like I just kind of sort of went from one thing to another. But it's fine, because that's how it goes sometimes. Point is, do not be a prisoner in your relationship. Allow for your partner to have friends. And when I say explore, I don't mean explore like other options as far as like being romantically involved with someone else. If that's what you're into, that's what you're into. Some people are into that too. And that's cool. What I'm saying is allow your partner to explore, themselves, to grow, to learn. Sometimes we do that by meeting other people. Different people get different things out of us. Trust them. Allow for people to sort of to feel like they're trusted. That's a great feeling too. And if you have fucked up in the past, that allows you to sort of heal from that. It allows you to see yourself as something other than someone who fucked up, which I feel is what happens a lot in relationships. A guy fucks up once, and then the girl holds it over his head for 3-4 years. Well, how the fuck is he gonna move on if you don't move on? You know, and this is not me trying to justify men's crazy behavior, because it goes both ways. Women do the same thing too. But I think we need to start being a little bit more forgiving to one another and allowing for the human in us to sort of, let me see. The human in us is going to fuck up. But the human in us also has to show compassion, is what I'm trying to say. I guess that's a better way of putting it. And we need to do that a little bit more. We need to stop being so, you know, you're out of here on strike one. And I get it. You know, we live in a society where everything comes fast now. You open up an app on the phone and you immediately have 1,000 options of people you can talk to, women you can look at. But in reality, they're not really options. That's just your imagination. That's just you thinking that all these people are options. They're not options. Because most of them are not fucking with you. You know? And if they are options, they're temporary options. This person you'll probably already have history with. Exes stay exes. You know what I'm saying? Like, anyways, that's a whole different thing. I'm not getting down that rabbit hole. But point is, you know, back to the video that I watched, and what I got out of that is that we should be okay with our partners having friends, even if they're the opposite sex. Not every guy wants to fuck your chick. I don't know who came up with that rule, and some of you watching this or hearing this might be going, yes they do. Well, maybe the guys that you want to hang around with, or maybe the guys that you know. I don't know. I just don't think that every single male is trying to fuck every single female. And I don't think that every single female is trying to finesse herself into every guy's lap, or however you want to put it. So, I don't know. Just give each other a little bit more freedom. Allow each other a little bit more breathing room. Sometimes relationships need that. I don't know if that offers anything, but I don't know. That's kind of what I got from that little video, and it just triggered me early in the week. I think I saw this Tuesday, and it just kept fucking with me. And I'm gonna have to talk about this, because I'm like, how is it that in 2021 you still got people that think this way? And I suppose in 2021 you still got people that think in all kinds of crazy ways. But come on, man. Really? All guys just want to fuck, and all girls want is attention. Really? That's what you think about people? We got to change that mentality. But something I said earlier, which was that you have to but you have to be in touch with your inner bullshit. And that's really the way that things change, I can only speak for myself. But this week also, I had an encounter with someone that I guess you could say I was becoming a hater because I saw their success, right in the middle of me going through I would say the worst period of my life. I was seeing them flourish, and they are someone that I have a lot of respect for, that I've always supported. I would never ever wish for anything negative to happen to this person. It's always been love from day one. But because things are not going well in your life, now every single step that they take, forward or up, seems like it's man, are you bearing me down even more? It has nothing to do with them. It's all you. And I was able to get to where I'm at today, meaning a happier place, meaning not in a place where looking at somebody else's success is going to make me feel any type of way. The only way I was able to get there was by literally just looking in the mirror and going, dude, you're being a fucking hater. You're being a hater. That's why I would delete certain people off of Facebook, and I would get off of Facebook and not want to see everybody else doing their thing. Because quite honestly, I was embarrassed of myself. I was not in a good place. I didn't really want to face the situation. So yeah, a lot of the rants, a lot of the outspoken rants of whatever, whether it was against religion or somebody else's political views, whatever it was all coming from this place of, I'm not happy. Nothing in my life seems to be going right. How the fuck can I put this out back onto the world? And then I started noticing that certain people, people that I care for, people that are in our circle, they would either say or post something, or they would show that, they were doing better, that something good was happening in their life. Not that it made me upset. I never became upset for someone else's success. Never. But it would just be fuck, man. I don't know. It's a weird thing to explain. But it was that. I was being a hater. So How do you change that? I mean, God, it was so painful. It was really so painful just to sit there and, because I guess the way that I deal with stuff like that is like I bash myself over the head with like thoughts and thoughts and thoughts. And I felt like I drove myself into like this pit where I had no other choice but to sort of like face myself. And then when you face yourself and you go, okay, like, so you yourself know how full of shit you are, right? Because you know your own lies, you know your own secrets, you know all of that. So once you're sitting there with all of your own bullshit and you're sort of just like drowning in it, you go, okay, but now why? You got to ask yourself the why. Why do I lie? Why am I hating on this person when that person's never done anything to me? Why am I feeling this way? Why am I doing what I'm doing? And that's kind of sort of when you start changing everything. But it's so hard to get there. Because I think that for the most part, we're constantly trying to protect ourselves from all of those things, from all of that reality, from all of that truth, from all of that, you haven't been doing the right thing. It's nobody else's fault but your own. So, you know what? It was a 180. It was a complete 180 from where I was, I want to say a year, 2 years ago. And man, I'm so much better because of it now. I think that putting myself in that pit and, to be honest with you, just torturing myself because I wanted to make a change. I wanted to be happy, and I was not happy. I was not happy with the person that I was. I started thinking back and going, how come the people that I thought were my friends or the people that I thought I was close with are not as close with me as I thought? And it's because of my impact. You know, you sort of get used to this routine of just being yourself and doing what you do everywhere you go, and you forget that everything that you say, and you know, there's another POV, there's another point of view, and that's the other person. I completely forgot about that, and I just thought that I was sort of like living in my own little world, and nothing was really evolving, you know, except I was getting angrier. Like I said, I seemed to be taking it out on people that had no business, you know, having my anger taken out on them. But like I said, you know, you get to a point where it's just like enough is enough. You know, like what do I need to do? And I looked in, and God, man, I feel so much better now. Even physically, like I just feel healthier. Like it's weird how they say, and again, I'm no expert, I'm no doctor, I've never been to a doctor, but I've heard a lot of people describe depression. So I could self-diagnose and say I was depressed. I mean, I didn't want to move. Literally, my body would hurt from how sad I felt. I know I didn't want to live at the time. You know, I was contemplating suicide, and obviously that didn't happen, but I don't know really what kept me around, because at one point it was just nuts, you know, the whole me not knowing how to deal with my own medical situations and having that thrown at me. And you know what, right when you're starting adulthood, nobody tells you, hey, let me give you this disease that you're going to have to now manage. And then on top of that, let me give you a disability that now you're going to have to learn to manage. And, oh, by the way, here's a kid, here's a family, here's marriage. What? So, all of these things at once, and again, this is no justification. It's not. A lot of people do it. But, unfortunately for me, I'm not that type of person. I sort of drowned in the situation, and it took me a while to sort of see through the other side. But I'm here, and I suppose that's really what matters, and I'm just trying to share that. So it was just so many things at once. It was just so overwhelming, and it drug me down. Not knowing how to deal with my medical condition, I think, was the heaviest thing. But in that moment, where you're in that pit where everything is really dark and you're sort of like at your worst, you realize, okay, so I was given, I'm not going to say I was given this situation. This is the situation that I found myself in. This is not the worst situation to find yourself in. There's people that are going through worse. Actually, like right now, as I sit here, at 30 minutes in and 28 seconds into this video, there's someone possibly being murdered. There's someone possibly being raped. There's someone possibly being kidnapped, or whatever you want to call it. There's some horrible shit happening to people right now. And that's not me. So how can I move forward? How can I make my situation a little bit lighter so that I can at least carry it? And that's what allowed for me to sort of move forward. It was just to think, you know what, this is not the worst of the worst, and let me get out of here. That's literally kind of sort of how let me get out of this pit. Let me get out of this hole. Let me lift this. I know I'm strong enough to do it. Because if I've done it so far, if I've gotten up to here, that means I can keep going. And that was one of the things that, believe it or not, kept me alive. And then also just, what would this do to my family? Everybody thinks, or not, I'm not going to say everybody, but a lot of people seem to think that, suicide is such a selfless act. It's a little bit of both. It's selfish and selfless because, you're not thinking of you, but look at what you're doing to the people that you love and the people that love you. I couldn't do that. And those are the same people that are supporting me right now that may be listening to this when no one else is listening to this. That support, that love, I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that to y'all. I couldn't do that to my wife and my son, most importantly. And honestly, my parents. I mean, no parent should ever have to bury their kid. And I definitely didn't want to do that to them. So that's why I'm here. I'm here because of you guys. I'm here because of my wife, my son, my in-laws. I mean, it almost feels weird calling them in-laws because realistically they're just my parents. Because I've now been married to their daughter for 12 years. We've been together 15. That's about half my life that these people have been, there as a support system, and they've been there through the best and the worst. So, thanks to them. Thanks to all of you listening. Obviously, my wife, my son, again. So, that's why I'm thankful. That's why this episode is called Thankful. Because all of this has come after a lot of reflection, a lot of staring in the mirror, and a lot of tears, a lot of, man, I really fucked up, a lot of apologies, a lot of, recognizing that you could have done better. You could have done better with certain people, and maybe you'd be in a different place in life. Maybe, having this person in your life wasn't the best thing for you. Realizing that sometimes you need to get rid of people in your life because those people will cut off, bridges for you. They'll burn those bridges for you. And so you sort of become this bad person. You become this person that nobody wants to deal with just simply out of association with someone else. Again, that's not me trying to put it on someone else, but at times that happens too. I would say 99.9% of the reason that people didn't fuck with me or may still not fuck with me today, that's all on me. I don't put that on anyone. But sometimes it does happen. Being around another person just puts you in situations, or it changes your demeanor, or because you want to be friends with this person, I don't know. Point is that who you hang out with, who you spend time with, at least most of your time with, it does make a difference, especially early on in life, when we're so easily influenced. And I mean, it's just, yeah, I don't even want to talk about that no more, to be honest with you. The reason that I don't want to talk about that is because I almost feel like that's something that I can address 100% with like names and places, and because I don't want to put people out there like that. But there's a better explanation. It's just it's not my place to say all of it. I wish that somehow I would be given the opportunity to sit with perhaps that person one day in the near future, not necessarily on the podcast, just on a private, and we can hash our shit out as to why things didn't go the way they should have. You know who I'm talking about, right? Yeah, you should. But I don't know, but for some reason, I feel like changing that backdrop. I feel like it's a little too busy. What do you think? That one. Right? I think I'm going to change it. I think I'm going to make it a little bit more plain. But just with the paper.
Yeah, I like it.
No, I like it too. It's just, I don't know. You guys tell me what you think. Obviously, episode 1, you guys saw a backdrop with the swirls and stuff. Just leave me a comment. I think I'm going to change it a little bit. See, I'm not sure because I do listen to podcasts, but at the same time, now that I'm doing my own, I don't want to listen to too many podcasts because then I feel like you start becoming influenced by what you hear. And I'm not trying to like spew the same shit that I hear just back to you on my podcast. So I don't know if other podcast hosts ask their audience or whoever, their supporters, their followers, whatever, for tips. And I wouldn't say tips, but just, I don't know, for their input. Anything regarding like their setup or whatever, whatnot. So if there's anything that you guys see that you guys think that I could improve on, a camera angle, the lighting, remove the candles because that looks gay, I don't care. I like candles. I like turtles. I don't know why that just came to my mind. I'm not high, guys. Not yet. Why are you laughing at me? Oh, and today I'm only going to keep it to one drink. Maybe. I'm not sure because this coffee's running kind of low. Hint, hint. Get me another one. Please. I love you. Are you my assistant? As I am yours, babe. See what I did there, guys? See? That could have easily been like, holy shit, this nigga's calling her assistant or his assistant. No, I'm hers as well. Yeah. But yeah, if you guys see anything, literally anything, look, this is a fish tank. And yes, you can see the light from the... Tell me what kind of fish you want me to put in here. I don't care. You can tell me that. Tell me to change the LED colors. I don't care. If you don't like that sign, tell me. I just want input. I want feedback. This is for me just as it is for you. I mean, the whole point of this is so that you guys have someone to, I suppose, listen to, and I have someone to talk to. The idea is so that all of us can learn from one another. I have no idea if anything I said today helped anyone. But because I don't have an idea, chances are that it probably did. Or chances are that it didn't. But if it did, great. If it didn't, great, because it helped me. I got it out. I feel better. This is very therapeutic. And I think essentially that's what we're all trying to do. We're all just trying to sort of like deal with our everyday BS. Trying to cope with a bunch of situations that a lot of us really don't know how to manage. A lot of us are still dealing with the after effects, or you could call it the aftershocks of the whole lockdown, the pandemic, and the anxiety and the uncertainty, the stress. So to me, that's what this whole thing is. It's just basically me opening up, giving you a little bit of who I am. And by a little bit, I mean a little bit at a time, because I don't know how long these episodes are going to be, but eventually you get the whole picture, But I'm 100% open. And yeah, like I stated earlier, if you're watching this and you're a friend of mine or you're a family member, yes, did I just completely confess to being full of shit and lying? And yeah, I did, because we all do that. And maybe you should too. And by me saying you should too doesn't mean that I'm pointing fingers at anyone in specific, because I'm not claiming that anybody's lying, or I'm not saying that. We know our secrets. We know our truths. We know our own bullshit. If you yourself know that there's things that you need to work on to improve your own life, maybe you need to look in the mirror. Maybe you need to reflect. And hopefully things start going better for you. That's the only thing that I'm trying to say. It's worked out for me. I feel so much better. Just even everyday life, and just being around my wife, knowing that I have a completely different outlook on marriage, on being a husband, on being a father. Because we think that because we're home and we live within the four walls that your wife and your kid lives in, that we're actually doing our job. Nah, sometimes we're not. Sometimes we're just sort of going through the motions, and we're doing what we think people are expecting of us, but we're not doing our best. We're not being the best example to our children that we could be, or even to our partners. We're also here to push, to motivate, to drive one another, to inspire one another. So that's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be a source of love, good energy, positivity for the ones around me. And I was not being that person. I was afraid to be that person for some fucking reason. I was afraid to be me. I was afraid to be creative Ricky, the person who just in the middle of a conversation, I could be witty, I could be funny, I could do this, I could do that, but I wasn't doing that in life. I was using my best abilities to sort of give little highlights of greatness here and there, and oh my god, he's so witty and he can be funny here, or he could do this and he can create that, but the whole thing wasn't working together. So I feel like now I'm becoming a little bit more whole. And it's all come from looking in, from holding that mirror right in front of my face and going, dude, you're full of shit. You're full of shit. You're not doing the best that you could. And when you do, I think things will start changing. And let me tell you, they are. They definitely are. Thanks to you guys. Again, thanks to my wife. Just everybody around me that's showing me love and support. Thank you, because it's really happening because of you guys. Because I'll be honest with you, I don't know what would happen if I went through everything that I went through, made all the changes that I made, and then decided to make those changes. And although I'm sure that it would make me feel great deep down inside, if you don't have someone to tell you, hey, I'm seeing these changes and I'm seeing the changes and how they're taking place in your life, I don't know, I think it would be different. But I'm super thankful that everybody's been super supportive. I hope that this episode gave you guys a little bit more of an idea about what the podcast is truly about. Word soup. What is that exactly? It's just that when you're sick, when you're not feeling well, when it's raining outside, when your body's achy, you have soup. You have something that makes you feel better. Hopefully a conversation can do that for you. Hopefully listening to this can do that for you. It can make you feel better. If something is going on in life right now, however stressful it may be, however hard it may be, just understand that all things are temporary. The only things promised in life are that it will end and that things definitely change. And always remember that it's really up to you to start that change. I'm tripping over my own words here, but it's really up to you to start that change, to trigger that change. It's hard, but stay at it. because there's always something worse. There's always something harder. There's always someone going through a situation that we couldn't even imagine, and they're getting through it. So if they can, why can't you? You know what I'm saying? We're all willing and we're all able. Sorry, we're all able, but we're not all willing. So let's change that. That's what I meant to say. I'm sorry. Just stay positive. You know, whatever it is that you're dealing with, again, you can get through it. Keep pushing. Reflect. Look in the mirror. Literally look in the mirror. That shit will change your life. I know it sounds weird. It's going to feel super silly at the moment. But stand in front of a mirror and look at yourself. Like, really, really look at yourself. For a moment, become someone else. Stand outside of yourself and look in and say, what do you see? Look into your own eyes and say, you're full of shit. If you are full of shit, if you're not and everything's going fine, then great, keep at it. But if there is a change that you need to make it, because you can, and it's really up to you. It's up to no one else. Just stay at it. Stay at it. Hit like, subscribe, share, comment. Just give me feedback. Give me feedback. I have a lot of different ideas as to what I want to do with this podcast and how I can help people. Because so many people have been helpful, you know, to me along the years and throughout this journey, this crazy up and down that I call life. And I feel that, you know, having a platform that is to the public, you know, one can help so many people. So if there's anything that you guys feel that I should bring attention to, comment, send me a DM, write me, whatever. You can send me an email, thewordsoupodcast@gmail.com. Just send it in. I'll give it a consideration, or I'll give it a thought, rather. Sorry. And we'll see how we move forward. Again, you know, all of you are part of this journey with me. Thank you again. Thank you again. And thank you again. Couldn't say that enough. I know this is only episode 2, but we got so many more coming. Yeah, I don't know. I still want to get a guest in. Obviously, my setup and everything that I have going on right now doesn't really lend itself to do that just yet. But soon enough, we will have someone in here, and yeah, hopefully we'll give you guys a little bit of word soup. Thank you, and till next time.